Good morning, everyone. It is time for another Technique Tuesday, and I had a request to talk a little bit about our Seasons in Motion promotion and how to put these cards together. Now, if you have been with me for a little while, you would have known that we had a promotion a couple of months ago called Seasons, or oh my goodness, Creativity in Motion. So I'm actually going to show you a little bit of a couple of samples from that promotion just to give you an idea of what you can do with this one. So let me just show you, first of all, these are the ones that we talked about last time that you might have seen on my page. So the idea is that we have these wonderful stamp sets that when you pair them with the right kinds of products, you can create an image that moves when you pull the tab. Isn't that fun? This is a super cute alligator. And so this is just one of the images that were from the old stamps, okay? So that's different now. And then this was the other card that I created with a dragonfly. And again, just by pulling the tab, the dragonfly moves. And I'll be honest, some of the stamps work better than others, and you'll see that as we go through things today. Now what we've got now is the Seasons in Motion, and so it comes with, you can buy these separately, you can buy them as a bundle, you can buy all of this product together as one bundle. There are lots of different options here, but I want to just highlight a couple of the things, or the things that are available to purchase. So we have this stamp set. It's all about Christmas and snowflakes and snowmen and reindeer and really cute stuff. We have this one, which is more about fall. So there's like a coffee cup and an owl and a heart here and a little scarecrow. So there's lots of different, this one, if you were done with autumn, maybe you are. Maybe you're looking forward to making Christmas cards. So then you might just purchase this one. And then there is a seasonal border tab. So this is what you would stamp on the edge of your, I'm turning it so you can see it. But cute little images that you can dress up your cards with or put on the part that pulls out. Okay. The other thing that this kit comes with, I have a lot of stuff around here, so I'm trying to figure out where to put stuff, is these shrunken, and I say shrunken because the designs are from full-size paper packs that we used to carry. And they've been reduced to fit on a 6x6 sheet. And so there's autumn, there's Halloween, and then we can get into winter and Christmas, and even some things you could use for any time period, any season. Lots of fun designs that are included in this pack. So this is a stack. It's called a paper stack, and it's all 6x6 reduced pattern. So it's not just a 12x12 that's cut down, it's been reduced so that it's perfect for working with cards. Okay. The other new thing, sorry, I'm going to pull this out for a second. This is the animation sheets that you saw on the cards that I just showed you. They had that's what makes it the stamped image move. So these are still available. They're not cheap, but you only need a tiny little bit. If you can see, I've made, I think, 4 cards. There's 3 sheets in here. I've made 4 cards already, and I haven't even used one thing here, and there's lots of little bits I can use for other things. So I actually find this one a little bit easier to use than what I'm going to show you in a second. The other new thing that we have, so this is the border tab thin cuts. So that was used to cut this little bit right here. Good morning, Monica. And also used to cut this little piece here. So it's basically to cut your little borders if you're not going to use the new one. So there's lots of different shapes there. So that's also an older, came out from before with the other one. This is what's new in this Seasons in Motion. So we have a card front that has these lines all in it, so that will create your motion. And then we have this little piece here which fits exactly so that you don't have to try and guess how big your stamped image should be. Now, here's the thing. This little puppy is hard to cut out. I'm going to be completely honest with you. It does not do well in a cuddle bug, because this is just, there's this little part right here just doesn't cut out well with a cuddle bug. People have been having a lot of trouble with that. A big shot, you can do it. I think you have to use what's called a precision plate to make that work. I am using our new, well, fairly new. It's been around for a year. You probably don't even know this, but we carry a cutting and die bossing, or die cutting and bossing machine, and I will probably show that in another video. But I didn't have time this morning with everything that we're doing. So, but it works well in that machine. And if you are going to cut this thin cut and you're having trouble, put it through a bunch of times. You might need to shim it, so practice on paper you don't care about first, and figure out what works best for your machine. You will need to add shims to it. With our machine, the pressure is all adjustable, so it really, really helps. But anyway, so that's my disclaimer. So if you're at all concerned about this not working well, then don't get this, and just stick with the animation sheets. Good morning. So this is what it looks like when this thin cut cuts out. So what I've done is I've cut it out of one of the stack papers, and I want to show you a few of the things that I've made with this before I show you how to put it together. So I think this one's actually my favorite. This one is the Snowflakes, and what I did is I just tried to line them all up together the way they are on the carrier sheet. And now I think I did a really good job with this one, but not so great with those ones. But if you can see, I hope it comes through. Yeah, oh, it is working. So I like to pull them slow. So it looks like those snowflakes are spinning around. Oh, it's totally working. Good, I'm glad. I love this. And so I actually kind of, I don't know if it shows in there, but the back of this paper is very colorful. And so there's actually a little bit of a hint of color that you can sort of see because the back of the paper is colored and it reflects on the snowflakes, which I kind of think is cool. So what I did with this one, this is what it looks like. But what I did is I decided to do some generation stamping with it. And I added that into the background. And so that just shows you that you can add more images. You don't have to leave it just for this. So isn't that cool? I love it. The other one that I did was this one. And this little mug, because it's just so, yeah, it sort of, yeah, on camera it actually works better than in real life. So that's kind of funny. But you can kind of see that the steam is kind of moving around a little bit. And I used my water brush and ink to color that heart just a little bit to match the card. And I like the sentiment, a latte fun. So that's one of the little ones that you can add. And then this one I really like. So this is these two were obviously with the thin cut, and this is with the animation sheets. And so this one is really cool. Isn't that neat? It says grateful for you, and that's what the image looks like. So again, I did second generation on these hearts because I didn't want them to show up quite as well as they would with just straight. So fun. And if you go too fast, you'd lose the images, but super fun. So in order to make this, because this is really big, it's a really big image, I just used the thin cut for the for this part is the thin cut. And then what I did is I used these thin cuts. I actually cut them all out. I used the biggest one. I don't know if you can see that, but I used the inside, and what I did is I lined up this one right in there, taped it down when I cut my image, and excuse me, and then I used what was left over. So that's why it's not, it's got a little extra white on the side here, but that was the size I needed for this. So if you have these thin cuts, that works really well. And actually what you're left with is this. So you can create with those later on whatever you want. So let me show you what the images all look like when you work with them and the animation. So I've stamped all these just in black. They're super cute. So I like this one. Obviously the stamps that have more lines, you're going to get more of a movement. Isn't that fun? He looks like he's running. Very cute. And then we have Ho Ho Ho. And there it looks like it's getting bigger and smaller and bigger and smaller. We have this owl. He's cute. He's one of my favorites. Oops. His eyes go up and down. He's blinking and waving his wings. All right. And then here's the coffee cup again. Here's what the coffee cup looks like through the animation sheets. So that one doesn't work as well there, I guess. And here we have our scarecrow. He's cute too. Look at him. He's doing a happy dance. Happy dance. This would be perfect for, like, you know, celebrating something fun if somebody did something cool. And then we've got the snowman. So his scarf and his hat go back and forth. But again, because there's not a lot of lines, this one, it doesn't move that much. I think that's, I've shown you all of them because we did the snowflakes already. I think that's it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my heart back together here, in here so that I don't lose track of it. There we go. What I'm going to do is just show you really quickly some tips on getting how to do this, put this together. Now, here's the thing. Obviously, you need the lines in the stamp to line up with the lines on your animation sheet or on your thin cut. So what I do is I take my ruler. This one is really nice because it has a grid going both ways. And all I do is lay it down so that I've got it's straight. And I'm going to just draw a little line here. And I'm not sure if you can see that. You don't want to do it too dark, obviously. And maybe another one here. And that's probably good for the one I'm using. So here's my two lines. Now, where did I put my stamp? I want to use this little reindeer guy because he's the easiest. He's one of the easiest ones to see. All right, so I'm just taking him off the carrier sheet. I'm not going to worry too much about how he's lined up. And I'm going to rub him on my hand a little bit just to make sure I get a really nice image. I'm going to use the carrier sheet, or the foam that comes with the carrier sheet. Now, you saw him stamped in black. I'm going to stamp him in espresso. And so here is where, because it's got some solid, I'm going to twist into my ink pad and dab. Yep, being loud. Twist and dab. Make sure that I've got good coverage there. And now, hopefully you might see my head. What I'm going to do is line up the lines. And I've got some ink on my... Hold on, I forgot to grab my chamois. I'm just going to clean this off so I don't get it on my project. All right, so I want the lines on my stamp for the animation to line up with the lines I've drawn. And I just need to give this a little bit more ink because I held it in the air too long. All right, and hopefully you can see, as long as you kind of have an idea, it doesn't have to be, like, you don't have to put your line through an open space on the stamp. You just need to line it up where however that works for you. Might be through one of these little strips and animation image lines, or it might be around it. I think the pencil really helps. Now you'll see I'm leaving this on. If you watched my Technique Tuesday last week, we talked a little bit about leaving it on your paper for a little bit to let the ink soak in. All right, so now I have my image. I'm not going to worry about erasing those lines yet. We're just going to make sure the ink is good and dry. You don't want to erase them right away, or you end up with smudges, and you don't want that. Now I use this just to really make sure that my image would be nice and crisp. Now what we're going to do, is use this. Now, what we're going to do, so let's see if it'll work here. And I may not be holding it, but look, he's running. So cute. So what I'm going to do is flip this over, and I'm going to line this up so that there is an edge all the way around. And this is the part where you're just going to watch me for a little bit. Because now what I might even do is just trim off just a little bit, just because this is going to take a while and I don't want it to. Our thin foam tape, or our foam tape, the more narrow, so it comes in 2 widths. You want to use the narrow one, but it's even still a little bit tight on the edge where the scallops, it might show a little bit. Because we've got lots of room on this one, I am just going to trim it down just so I can put this down faster for you, and you're not watching me. I actually did all these little bits before. Now, see, now I have a little bit more room and I don't have to worry about it. Because what you don't want is, you don't want to tape your, you don't want your foam tape to show, and you don't want to tape this down, otherwise you're in trouble, right? So we're going to pull that out just a little bit so that you can kind of see, and once you have it figured out, you can probably pull it away, but I like to leave it there as a guide. So this is where the foam tape is super helpful. And then we just take our non-stick scissors and snip. And if you have, if you've done shaker cards and you have lots of little leftovers from those, see, I stuck it down anyway. So double check that. Make sure you don't do that. If you have lots of the little insides from shaker cards, those are really great to use for this, because the thicker foam tape is better for this project, so that there's enough space for fingers to pull this tab. See, I did it again. So just make sure that it's all the way out there. What you'd want to make sure too is that you can't see this through. So this is going to be right up close. I don't know if you can see, that's the edge of the opening. And that's okay, because it'll be right there at the edge. And it'll be fine. I'm not worried about it at all getting caught or showing. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, just because I've used a lot of that, I'm just going to switch to this one so that I can also put some foam tape on that. So that, whoops, too long. I'll just do it this way. So that, obviously that has to sit up too. You don't want it to collapse. You want it all to be the same level. I'm just kind of putting a few pieces here and there. So now we just have to take off all of this, all the backings. Now, if you were to use the animation sheets, it would be the same thing, except that on your, well, I'll show you in a second. So now we're going to put this down, and it is sized so that there's going to be a border around the outside, because it's about 4 inches by 5 1/4. And there we go. Now, do not put any foam tape here, or here, or here, or here, or you'll end up not being able to slide this in. Now, it's a little bit tight, but there we go. La la la, super cute. So if you were to make this one, for example, using the animation sheet, what you would do is cut, let's say you're going to use this size, you would cut a piece of animation sheet that would be about the same size as your frame. You can glue it on with liquid glue. I don't think Bonding Memories would work. Liquid glass or any of the other kinds of the Tombow, probably this Tombow would be a better one than the blue one. You're going to attach it to that, and then as you do you figure out which side you want your little tab to be on with the image, so like this guy, because you could certainly do it this way. if you wanted to and stamp it differently. If you can use these on layouts and things too. So, and then you just put adhesive or foam tape. Once you have your animation sheet on, then you put your foam tape around 3 sides, stick it in, and stick it down on your project, and you're good to go. All right. That is how you put these lovely, fun cards together. And I hope that that answers some questions. And what I will try to remember to do is also post a link to the Seasons in Motion products so that you can find those really quickly on my website. And we'll go from there and you'll have some fun with it, hopefully. And if you have any questions, please feel free to post it or email me or message, whatever you'd like. All right. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye.